the Jains are also the best practitioners of ahimsa.
Of course, ahimsa paramo dharma.
Right. And usually the best who are aware of the climate and ecology and environment. Did Maheshwarnath ever say anything to you about, what the tradition says about how to regard our place and our relationship with the natural
nature
world?
Well,
particularly now, given that we're in the midst of climate change.
There was something he was very, very clear from the time I met him, which was to respect nature tremendously. He had the water, the rivers, the mountains, the trees. He said these are all the primary gods. All other gods are nonsense. I've heard this many times from him. He said, this water source, make sure that you use it properly. Don't waste your water. I went from a house where we had taps, water taps. In those days we had the water tap. So you open the tap, you're brushing your teeth, the water is flowing. So he said, pick up some water in a pot. And what's that sound? Something is boiling. Mine? My caller? Okay. So, it's not magic, okay? What did I?
The water was your question.
Yeah. So, he said when you want to brush your teeth, take a pot, bring the water, use it, and then what is left, use it for something else. So it starts with you, not with social reform. It starts with oneself. All social reforms start. And food. Very particular that you take only food which you can eat. And after eating, he ate very little. But when he gave me food, he said, before you eat, keep a little bit of food away. Eat the rest as much as you take, only as much. What is that food for? To feed the animals or to feed the other creatures. I think this is where the foundation for looking after the surrounding world started coming into me. Before that, I really didn't care what was going on. And his theory about not eating non-vegetarian food was, he said, when you eat vegetarian food, pluck an apple, there are many more apples going to come in that tree. But when you finish an animal, you're completely finishing one unit. Complete. It's not as if the animal has to be there for the next animal to come, but it's gone. Apple tree is still there. You pluck one apple, there is still going to come up again. It's the same with corn, it's the same with everything else. So from the beginning he taught me this idea of conserving. Conservation is one of his keys. And also conserving your energies, which is the inner side. And when people talk about outer environment, they tend to forget there's something called inner environment, which is to keep your mind and body balanced and not waste your energies unnecessarily. If you gather those energies, they become a tremendous force, much more stronger than any other force that you encounter.
Taking a step back to Yamas and Niyamas, is it possible to practice those perfectly in this world, and is perfect practice necessary to?
It's not possible to practice it 100% for most of us. But then we have to start somewhere. And as you move along, you find that it's easier for you to practice more. If you think that first I'll start practicing the next section, which is dhyana, dharana and samadhi, only after I perfect my Yama and Niyamas, it's not going to work. You can't do it. Perhaps the greatest of teachers who has reached the highest level may be able to practice everything perfectly, not the sadhak, one who is practicing. So we should try our best, keeping in view, I'll try my best as much as I can. If I don't come up to it, then I regret for it and say, okay, I'll try again and move forward. We can't wait for perfection of Yama and Niyamas to move further in the spiritual field. You need to start somewhere. If you are perfectly practicing Him, that means you have reached Samadhi. You don't need anything else. You're already perfect. There's no need to move. I'm not perfect myself. I also have some problems. Well, I manage. I see something and I know it's there, so I manage.
On that note, is it possible to even practice our whatever sadhana we do perfectly? Because my belief is that usually most people are not even practicing correctly, and then we just get better with practice, which is why it's called practice.
Sure.
So can you talk about the importance of proper technique?
Yeah. First, we need to have a proper technique. And second, once you have the technique, then you practice it regularly. In fact, what happens is, I've seen this in many sadhaks. It has happened to me sometimes, early days. You practice a beautiful technique given to you by the teacher, very effective. Then after a while you reach a certain stage of calmness and stability, and you think you have reached the highest. And then you stop practicing. After some time you discover you're back to square one. You start again and go on. So always keep this in mind. Patanjali's wonderful statement, Nairantariya Abhyasena, regular and continuous practice is very essential. In the beginning it may not be perfect, but keep doing it. Don't suddenly after 6 months of practice get into this illusion that you have attained moksha or nirvana. Keep doing it. When that happens, you probably don't need to practice, but a tall order. It's not so easy to do that. So one has to watch this very carefully. There are some people who say, well, we want to meditate, we don't want to do all this breathing and so on. I said, okay, if that's your way of looking at it, please do it. But don't expect results if you are not practicing. To reach that kind of internal happiness to some extent and to be a little blissful, one need not even practice Kriya. Nowadays in California all substances are available. That's not the answer.
Especially in Berkeley here. In fact, maybe we close the windows, I don't know.
Really? That bad? Or that good, whatever.
So it's about 11:45. Folks who are prepping in the kitchen, you guys know who you are, and we will just have you guys go in there and start plating, and then I am going to open up the floor for questions. And I have a suggestion, which is that perhaps if you have a question that is something in your heart that's at the edge of your own understanding and the edge of your own practice, that is perhaps the best kind of question to ask, rather than something rooted in philosophy. Although I know you'll take any sort of question, but I'll just start there, and let's see what is in the room for those who have questions. And I can keep going too, but I'm sure you can. Here we go.
Ram Ram Guruji.
I can't hear you. Nobody can hear.
Ram Ram Guruji. One question that I have is that you said that when you are, people are near to you, or when people are near to you, one can feel that you are more important than others. Or whenever we try to do a little bit of service, we have, I don't know but I usually have this thought, okay, wow, we are doing a good thing, or that somehow that ego comes. What should we tell ourselves when this happens? Be aware, or is there something we can do?
First and foremost, whatever thought is occurring, don't stop service. Important. This is secondary. Service is important. And if you are doing some service to the group which is trying to help me spread the teachings of Vaiswanad Babaji, which I have learned, then you're doing a good thing, there's no question about that. But make sure that you don't get obsessed with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Look, your case, personally, you live here in the United States, okay? And I generally am not here, I'm living. So when I'm here, you're very happy, you're able to do some service, but I'm not here. Then you feel bad that I'm not able to do anything. So this shouldn't occur. Because there are other people there who would be doing service. So don't feel jealous of them, okay? Because it so happens that you're here and they're there and they're doing the work. So that's what I'm trying to say. Just keep this in mind that everybody in some way is contributing to the understanding of the teachings. This much if you keep in mind, then you're okay.
I think Soma has a question as well.
Pranam, sir. My question is, when we are going through the spiritual path and we have these satsangs and we talk to the like-minded people, when we share our experiences, what is your advice in sharing our spiritual experiences? My fear is when we are sharing this experience with the like-minded people, am I coming across as a person who is bragging to kind of boost my ego? Or is it okay to kind of share so that they get inspired and continue their path and I'm kind of motivating them?
This is for you to really figure out if you're bragging or not bragging. If you should know, how would others know if you're bragging? And don't worry about what others think. If you feel something genuine and you know that you're not bragging, you just want to share this, then please go ahead and do it. You should be convinced that you are not bragging, not what others think. Others think you're bragging, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Even there are people who think I am bragging, so what? There's a question out there, Rahul.
All the way in the back, banked. Can you come up a little bit? I'm not sure if the cord is going to reach all the way back there.
Thank you for being here.
Sir,
And
I met you before. We met before, right?
Yes. I have some personal questions to ask and not feel very comfortable in front of the group to ask them.
Oh,
How could I ask them in a way that would be elegant?
there are two ways of doing that. One is when I come out of here, we can sit somewhere under the tree and discuss. One. Two, you can email me.
Here's better.
Okay. Okay. If that appeals to you, then you can email me. Or we'll see when I go out. There's some time we can sit under the tree.
I would love
under
that.
the people tree, yeah. What's your name? Yes, please.
Hi.
And is this young lady sitting on your lap?
It's my son.
Oh.
His hair is long.
Joking, sorry.
He likes it like that.
You look nice, so I said, okay, fine.
So I teach asana yoga
Very good.
in Santa Cruz, and I have been for a while, but recently feel like that the deeper I go into these teachings, the less equipped I feel to teach in
No.
this realm.
So let's complete the question, yeah.
No, it's okay. And I'm now going to school to teach children. I've also been substituting that,
Look,
but
Teaching yogasanas is perfectly all right.
and I
But
bring the teachings into the class.
Huh?
I bring the teachings into the class as best as I understand them, but I understand them deeper and feel bad for the people that came to my class 5-6 years ago because
So,
what was I talking about?
so when you teach, see, we can teach only as much as we know. We can't wait till we are perfect. It may be too late. Next birth you'll teach? No. So, let's do the best. And the thing we have to guard against when you teach is that you're not saying something that you don't know. That's all you need to know. Keep in mind. And as far as asanas are concerned, they are very good. You should continue to teach them. But even that, don't stop. Keep working on the different modes of asanas and how to adapt, and don't stop. You know what I mean? You might have studied in one school, but there may be something else going on in us. Try to absorb, bring it together, and don't feel I don't know, so what am I to teach? You teach what you know, and what you don't know, be honest enough to say, I don't know, but this is what they say. Sit down.
So, life experiences have taught me how to be objective and detachment and to have good boundaries. And so I am on a spiritual path. Thank you. How does one not feel alone when you're growing so fast inwardly and the outward is different, even with your friends and your family, and you rather choose to be alone than to conform?
So I would say that you shouldn't treat it as a problem. It's lovely to be alone and nice to be alone. Some people don't understand this. You don't bother to make them understand. They will not. So leave them alone. Alone. Meaning up to their whatever they are doing. You stick to your aloneness. It's not loneliness. Aloneness, the solitude that you're enjoying. Try to share it with others. Say this is how it is, but it's a little chance that everybody would listen to this. There are certain people who feel they're happy only when they're surrounded by people and doing this and that. You have learned to live alone, inside I'm talking about, and enjoying the solitude that you have in your mind. It's a wonderful thing. No matter what 100 outside people say, don't give it up. You're lucky. Hold on to it. And even if you don't tell them to do it, believe me, After a while, those among your associates, friends and relatives who are sensitive will begin to get to understand this gradually. It's not an easy task. You're lucky that you have got it. Hold on to it. Don't let go. It's a valuable gift. Other things really don't matter. Welcome. Did we have this dialogue many years ago?
I've advanced quite a bit now.
But similar discussion in Singapore? No.
Singapore and Delhi and Bangalore and New York.
Ah. Oh yes, sir.
My question is personal to my path, but also a general one I carry. The beginning of the path is often filled with lots of beautiful synchronicity, miracles, dreams, confirmation from maybe the lineage of masters that revealed themselves that we are real, we're with you. On my path, the idea grew that I need a living master, not just Yogananda. And due to mistakes in my own perception and conception, I drew myself to teachers who claimed to be in Kriya and Nath traditions, but were not in the end. It was revealed. And the question I have is, how does one recover from the feeling of betrayal that one experiences? Because the techniques were beautiful and may have even been technically correct, but trying to sit in practice after betrayal, something's not right. It feels not right. So how can someone who's experienced such betrayal, even if it's due to their own mistakes, how does one recover?
My suggestion is, this is my sincere suggestion to you, for some time, avoid all teachers, including this. Avoid all teachers. They have not done much for you, so just avoid. Consider the Supreme Being in your mind to be the teacher and say, I need guidance. When it comes to me, then I am ready to accept it. And don't even think, because the moment you think about somebody, then the thought of betrayal would jump up. And then you cannot meditate. So for the time being, wash everything out. There's no Ganga here. I would have said, go take a dip and be clear and come out and say, okay, I'm free now. But I've learned to meditate and I know meditation is good for me, so I'm going to meditate. Doesn't matter what somebody is there or not there. That should be the attitude. And believe me, if you continue to do that for a while, when you need guidance, somebody will pop in and guide you. With no expectations whatsoever. I think that is the only advice I can give. I feel sorry when I know I meet many people who've been betrayed. What do we do? I said, forget about everything now. Lead a good life. Spend some time meditating. Go for walks. Enjoy your life. And then you see what happens after that. Mm-hmm.
Hello. So my question is, what does one do when severe physical pain results from meditation, prayer, satsang, and in the form of severe fire within the head and back of the head and even parts of the neck, so severe, in tears and just praying for understanding of why this is happening?
So, it depends on what kind of meditation and practice that you're doing. I can't give you a blanket suggestion on this or solution for this, but my suggestion would be to, for some time, not meditate. See if you can do that. Or meditate while lying down, even though there's a danger of falling asleep. Lie down and meditate. For some few days, don't meditate at all. Do some japa during that time, go for a walk, and then resume and see if it occurs again. Okay, 2. The third would be that you need to check something which is very important. This is from the technical yogic point of view. Next time, when you get this pain, when you are meditating, you get this severe pain, you said, take a piece of shining glass or something, hold it under your nostrils, okay? It's not strange, I mean, hold it under your nostrils, clean it up first, and then blow with your nostrils. I'm sure nobody told you this, let me tell you this. Please, this is not for everybody, don't start tomorrow morning with a glass. I'm trying to specifically look at a problem. Keep it here and then blow, and take it off and look which side, there's this blobs of vapor coming onto the glass when you breathe. Just see which side is more and which side is less. One would be smaller than the other. Okay, if you see that your right one is smaller than the left is a bigger blob and the right is a smaller blob, then that means your Pingala is working overtime and your Ida is working less. This is Ida and this is Pingala. These are the two nadis on either side of the spine through which prana operates. Most of the problems you get because of meditation or through meditation, especially such really excruciating, is because of the imbalance of these. Okay? So if you found out that your right is working more than the left, then lie down on your right side. Close your right nostril. Keep only the left open. Lie down for some time and let all your breathing happen from the left for some time. Cooling breath. This is the hot breath. This is the cold breath. Lie down for some time. Then sit down and meditate and see how it works. These are all very clinical methods. I mean, there is nothing given to imagination. It's fact. So then sit down and see if it's work. It could be that the other side is working more than the other. Then it should do the reverse. I have a feeling that this kind of pain probably is because your Pingala is working overtime. So restore the balance by allowing the Ida to work. And the way to do that is to lie down on the opposite side of that which you want to work and setting that nostril for a while so that automatically the breath goes to the left. It depends on what you see when you keep the glass piece. You don't really need to give. If you can actually find out by breathing, it's okay. But I just said in case. This could be a yogic solution to that. The other two are practical suggestions. We don't know why maybe your neck is up. One more thing. Just after you finish your meditation, do this exercise. Roll your head very slowly, a complete circle. No jerks, no jerky motion. And then take it back and drop it once. So try doing this after every meditation session and then get back to me and tell me what's happening.